Hello and welcome to an extra special edition of FAIR's Event Expert Series, Practical Solutions for Event Profs podcast. We are recording live at Event Tech Live at London's Excel. My name is Katie Watley and today I have with me our CEO of FAIR, Adam Jones.
Hello.
And Lisa McBride.
Good morning.
So we're all from Team FAIR, which means that today's session for us is a little bit different because rather than being joined by event industry experts to discuss a popular hot topic, I'm sat next to my FAIR colleagues and we're going to share with you our 2025 story. It's a story of exhibitors from a company that not only exhibits, but a company that also champions exhibitors. Since our inception in 2020, FAIR has been on a mission to make exhibiting easier. And in 2025, we set ourselves a target to make 2025 the year exhibitors met deadlines. Maybe we didn't know the target at the beginning of the year, but it definitely was in the back of our minds.
Absolutely.
Before we dive into that, Adam, please can you give us an introduction to FAIR? For those people who perhaps don't know the platform or don't know what we do, what's our story? As our founder, what's our story? Go.
Story-wise, as you mentioned earlier, we exhibit ourselves, and I've always wanted to practice what we preach. We're in the industry serving shows, and I wanted to support that. So my exhibiting experience was always fraught with what I felt as barriers and frustrations. So at a point where I was exhibiting at lots of different shows, I was being exposed to lots of different experiences, none of them good, unfortunately. So one of those shows particularly bad was particularly bad, and I decided, well, I'm just going to cancel this one. It's too much like hard work. And in that process of cancellation, that was a real hit home for me to think, well, if I'm cancelling this, what are other brands doing? And if that was their first experience of exhibiting at a show, why would they ever do it again? And that to me was a real eye-opener. So I wanted to go about building something that improved it and streamlined it, and rather than take something that was already in existence and try and make it better, I just started from scratch, a blank canvas, because traditionally exhibitor manuals are just evolving from paper manuals. They were literally ring bound and posted out to people, and when we took that online, we tried to replicate that, and we didn't need to. We've got amazing tools at our disposal, so yeah, it just seemed like a sensible thing to build an exhibitor management platform in a very different way, start from scratch, introduce things like tasks rather than forms, and make it easier, just focus on that user journey from start to finish.
As an organiser listening to this, they might say, well, what is bad? What does bad mean? Can you give an example of like the frustration?
Yeah, crikey. Where do I start? So I'll pick on one particular thing. There was a form that had around 16 different questions, none of them one-word answers, and I had to go off and find the information. Took me about 2.5 hours to collate all of the responses. I was waiting on one bit of information back from one of my colleagues. I thought, well, I'll go for lunch, and by the time I get back, it'll be ready. And it had timed out, and it had wiped all of my progress, and I had to start again. That very same form I submitted to the organizer, and I got an email back from them saying, lol, you didn't have to do that one. I wasn't overly impressed. I didn't find it that funny. It was a massive waste of my time. So that was one example. The other example was the ordering process was just a nightmare. I needed 7 different things for my stand, and I had to order those 7 things from 7 different suppliers in 7 different ways. So one of them had a nice system to log into. I had to submit my stand number, and it couldn't find it, so I ended up trying to phone them. Their phone number was a fax machine, so it squealed at me a little bit. And then another one, I had to submit a form to them, and it was just a nightmare. It took me about 2.5 weeks to order something, and that whole process really put me off exhibiting. And that's what we wanted to really solve. So having an exhibitor shop that provides more of an Amazon-style experience, where regardless of who the supplier is, as long as they're a trusted supplier of the organizer, we can order from them and pay once, and those orders and payments get distributed out. And then from a task management perspective, creating the tasks in a way that are more like a to-do list and make sure that they're a to-do list that's relevant to that exhibitor. So there's no chance of you spending 2.5 hours building something or completing something that isn't relevant for you. Because it's the age-old problem. I might buy the stand, but you might be the one completing the exhibitor manual, and you don't know what I've bought, and I haven't told you.
That sounds familiar for Event Tech Live.
It does, doesn't it? Luckily, you're doing the manual, and it's our manual, so it was a breeze.
Yes. Yeah, Lisa, what's your background? How did you get into FFAIR?
I come from a customer service background, so I was in customer service for over 10 years. And then I moved more into the tech and customer success side of things. And the company I was at before, when I started, it was kind of the same as FFAIR, where the CEO was doing everything by himself and he had no more bandwidth. So I built their customer success department for them. So their CRM, all of their back-end processes and documentation. Then unfortunately, I was laid off, they were acquired, and it just so happened that FFAIR were looking for a head of customer success at the time, and I saw it and immediately was like, this sounds like I could bring a lot to them. So I interviewed with Adam and immediately stopped applying everywhere else. I was like, I want to work there with them, which thankfully worked out in the end, and I didn't have to interview anywhere else. But yes, as soon as I saw FFAIR, I was like, this is where I want to work. And the events industry itself is not something I was in before, but I thought that is so interesting. It's something I could see myself doing. So yeah, I've just been working in the sort of tech background, building the CS department out in FFAIR. And yeah, it's been a great journey so far.
It has indeed.
And what does Lisa bring to the CX team? To FFAIR?
I think one of the pain points for a lot of event tech companies are onboarding their customers and actually getting a customer to utilize the system to its fullest ability. And that's what Lisa's brought to the company. Is we're putting things in place like the FFAIR accreditation, which means that our customers know how to use the system as well as we do. That has a massive benefit for us because they need our support less. They're maximizing the opportunity more, and the exhibitor, the end user, is the one that's benefiting the most. So Lisa's brought in, and we call it customer success rather than customer support because we're proactively making the experience better. And handing over something like that and being so connected to a customer, in my own kind of my approach to it, handing that over to someone else was quite wrenching. But Lisa has been incredible, and our customers absolutely adore Lisa as well. That's the other thing.
Yeah, definitely. They say more about Lisa than they do you now.
I know. Oh, wow.
I pay them.
Lisa, obviously you're not from the events background, so is there anything you've noticed that differs from working with event organisers to perhaps other users of platforms?
First and foremost, I would say they're a lot more friendly than any customers I've dealt with before. I genuinely feel a connection to them. They're people, and I think that really comes across. In terms of using the platform, I think they're a lot more hands-on. They like to see exactly what they're doing. So that's where I think our onboarding call really comes into play. You know, I have an hour and a half with them when they sign up, and I show them everything that the platform does, and I think they really see the value in that. Some people might be okay to just go into it blind and do it by themselves, but the organisers love to see exactly what they'll be doing, how it'll work, and yeah, I think they really value that. So that's something that's different from what I've seen before.
Yeah, 100%. And do you think, Adam, the needs of the event ops teams, do you think they've always been that hands-on? Is that how you've known them? Because obviously you've been in ops tech now for 20 years.
25 years.
Oh, 25 years.
Yeah.
Have the needs and the styles of event ops changed from your perspective?
They've always been very hands-on. They've always been very interested in the details. They're very detail-orientated, and it's an interesting one when we bring in salespeople. They want to demo to a customer in a 10-minute demo. And I have to say, you can't do that to operations people because they want to get into the weeds. If you do a 10-minute demo, you'll get an hour and a half of questions. So you may as well just demo for an hour. But what I do see, and what I've always been very concerned around, is operations people working too long. They'll start at 6 in the morning and they'll finish at 9 o'clock at night, and that's almost become the norm and expected of people. And that's something that I found when I was running show plans. You'd get emails from our clients at 7 o'clock in the evening, even 10 o'clock in the evening, and that's going to cause massive churn. It's going to cause burnout. It's going to cause a huge amount of stress that's completely unnecessary. So part of building FAIR was to actually address that and make operations people's jobs more automated, so they can actually go home and pick their kids up and spend time with their family and do the human stuff rather than just stressing out. And something we always hear is, oh, you're solving problems I didn't know were problems. And that's a real indicator that they've just got used to burning out and just filling out spreadsheets and doing all of that stuff, chasing exhibitors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big win for us. One other thing that I also, it's one of the objections that we sometimes get is, well, we want that human interaction with our customer. We want to chase them for their risk assessments. And I try and explain, well, that's quite a negative interaction for you to have with your customer. Let us take that off your hand, and then you can contact your customer to make sure that everything's okay and that they're maximizing their opportunity with the show and they're promoting. So it's more of a customer support to customer success on their side as well.
It's a change for them, isn't it? A change
It's a change.
Yeah. We see it in SaaS, but they don't necessarily see it in the events world so much.
Yep.
You attended the Ops Nest Hackathon earlier this year, and I know those events are generally closed behind closed doors, so please don't reveal anything that you can't share. But is there anything that you can share that perhaps relates to FAIR? I'm particularly thinking anything about around stand plans or anything that was a topic.
Yeah, so how late things are is a real problem, and that was a big discussion around, if the stand plans are submitted late, the show, that has knock-on effects. So when deliveries are placed, when approvals are made, and we get this sort of pinch point. So in the example of stand plan inspections, that's got to go through a series of people reviewing it. It's got to meet the brand guidelines, it's got to meet the venue regulations, it's got to be structurally sound. And that process takes a long time. So if you're squeezing that process, that's increasing the opportunity of error. So that was a big piece. And I think that's something that when we were there, I wasn't allowed to promote FAIR. I was just there as a consultant. But it was, for me, it's like, well, FAIR can sort that out. We get 90% of our tasks completed on time, every time. And that's across the board. And yeah, we could eradicate that late submission and pinch points quite simply.
It was definitely, I remember you coming back from that event and saying, we need to keep, this is like reinforce what the need for FAIR.
Yes. Yeah, it was quite frustrating for me because with operations, what I was hearing was, oh, there's no solution to this. And I'm like, hello, anyone? But I think that's also indicative of how in the weeds they are, that not many ops people get out of their job to come to a show like Event Tech Live and see solutions that can get them out of the pit that they're in. And I think that's the big opportunity for event organizers to support their ops team to get them to places like this. Because if you could save 3 months worth of time just by implementing a tech product, all of a sudden your ops team are more energized, they've got more time to do proactive stuff. And bearing in mind, ops people aren't just reactive, they are creative as well, but they don't have the opportunity to be creative. And that's what I really want to see more operations teams becoming, is more creative departments.
Yep. So the session is called How We Made 2025 the Year Exhibitors Met Deadline. So can you walk us through exactly what we've achieved this year with FAIR? When we say we, obviously our customers have achieved. We're using our platform.
Yeah, so stepping back a few years actually, and back into my previous role where they had their own exhibitor manual, they would be lucky to get 50% of exhibitors logging in. So just logging in, that then means you're probably getting about half of those exhibitors completing the tasks, which means you're going onto site with 75% of your exhibitors' stand plans not being approved. And if something goes wrong, it goes catastrophically wrong. And if the insurance companies come in and want to find someone to blame, you know where the blame's going to go. So that was kind of our base from the very beginning. But over the course of the last year, we've increased our task submission completion. So 90% of tasks are completed on time, 97% of tasks are completed overall. So 7% of them are slightly over the deadline. But
what was it last year?
What was it last year?
Yeah.
It was around 65% on time. So we've been working hard and experimenting to improve the user experience, the UI, to make it easier, and also improving and tweaking the amount of reminders it takes to get people to do what they need to do. We've got many levers, so we can remind someone on a daily basis or a weekly basis. We can do it at 7 o'clock in the morning, or we can do it at 7 o'clock at night, so we can play with all these things. And what we found is 7 a.m. on a Monday morning weekly is the sweet spot for getting people to do what they need to do. The other thing that we've noticed as well is, because FFAIR is unlimited users, so from an exhibitor perspective, they can invite their 10 colleagues. All of those 10 colleagues get the reminder, so the person that should be doing it is very visible to the other colleagues that they haven't done it. And that peer pressure is also something that's triggered people to complete more. So yeah, 97% task completion, it's near perfect. And also the login rate, we have 100% login rate. Wow. So that's
and a recent swap card report said that 12% of exhibitors complete their exhibitor profiles before the show. And we all know that an engaged exhibitor is greater ROI, they're a better show for them. So this is a real issue. It's not just about getting stand pans and getting ops teams home for dinner. It's bigger than that. It's a bigger, wider opportunity on ROI.
It is, and I think from an exhibitor perspective, why wouldn't they fill out their profile? They've spent a lot of money to be visible and to capture opportunities and leads. Their profile being complete is one of those elements that's going to do it. So what's the blocker? Why are they not filling that out? It's because we make it too hard for them, or we're giving them too many logins to too many different systems. And I think that's a real pain point that I see is, we want to utilize tech, but giving someone 7 logins to 7 different platforms, that gets confusing. And also you're then bundling that in with people coming in saying, can you buy this data for this show? And they're not legitimate. So trying to funnel people through a central portal is really important. Even if they have to go from that central portal out to different systems, that takes the risk away. You know that they're a legitimate supplier that you're buying from. You know that it's a legitimate registration partner that you're going to add your colleagues to get your badges. So being that conduit, I don't think we'll ever get away from having multiple systems, and I think you, as an organizer, you want to go best in class, so it's how you then connect those best in class systems. And that's what, kind of with FFAIR, you can have that as your central portal and fire people off in a very easy to understand way, and utilizing the automated reminders to do it. That's key.
Lisa, does it differ from show to show? Are some exhibitors better at submissions than others? You know, how does that work?
100%. And the thing is, the organizers, they know their exhibitors, so they know if their exhibitors are going to be good with tech or not. And that quickly becomes apparent as well. So it's just about them building it in a way that is suitable for their exhibitors. So if they need to give a little bit more information, then they do it that way. If they need to make their tasks a little bit more simple so that they understand exactly what they need to do, then they can do that. And that's why our onboarding call is good, because I can walk them through that as well and talk to them about the different ways that they can do things. And obviously we have so many customers now, thankfully, that I've seen similar shows and I can advise them on that. Yeah. So it definitely differs from show to show. But as Adam said, 97% completion rate, it's doable, even if they're not tech savvy,
Yeah.
it's definitely still doable. It just depends how they set up their portal, which we can work with them on.
And then I suppose obviously as well, it's about the people today might not be tech savvy, but the generations behind them,
Yeah.
Their marketing person, if they add their marketing person as a user, they are, I'm assuming, maybe more tech savvy just because of the nature of the job. So
Yeah, and that's the good thing about being able to add multiple users is they can add someone to help them out. And we also offer a welcome template that I offer to our organisers. That is a really quick 2-minute video that walks their exhibitors through how to use the platform as well. So that's something that we've brought in, and it shows the exhibitors, if you click here, this is what you do. If you click on the shop, this is what it's for. Really quick overview for them. So even if they go onto it and they think, I'm not tech savvy, I can't use this, they have that clip set as a pop-up for them. They view it and then they know exactly what they're doing with the platform. So we work with them to make it as user-friendly as possible for all types of exhibitor.
And I think video is such a good way of being able to connect with people as well and getting them over that line. I mean, I use YouTube for everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
How do I do? But
Yeah.
it's the way to connect with people, isn't it? And
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we try to do that even in our knowledge-based articles. Everything has text and a video because people take things in different ways. And we're very aware of that. That's what we've seen over the past few years. So we're just making it as easy as possible for everybody involved.
yeah, it's definitely our long-term plan to build out our YouTube channel as well with how-to videos.
Yeah.
And answer some of those questions.
Something else that I think is increasing our completion rate is we're now 5 years old and we've got exhibitors that have used FFAIR for the last 4 or 5 shows and they're getting really, really used to it. And one of the exhibitors here came up to our stand yesterday and said, I've been exhibiting at 7 different shows. It's been an absolute nightmare. But when I see FFAIR is the exhibitor manual, it's a breath of fresh air or a massive relief for him because it's so easy to use.
Yeah.
And I think that UX and UI is really key. And I always say it's easy to make something hard. It's hard to make something easy. So even though on the surface our system seems and feels very simple, that's a lot of hard work and effort that's gone into our design, our reviewing of user flows and usage as well. That's really important for us.
Do you think that people who exhibit get it? Do you think that some event organisers perhaps maybe they haven't walked the shoes of their exhibitors for a while? I know it's a bit controversial to say, but being an ex-organiser, I know we always used to say, oh, we've got this great tool, but bolt that on, bolt that on, bolt that on. And without meaning to, we're trying to do the best by exhibitors, but without meaning to, we're actually making it a bit of a minefield. Do you still see that?
Yeah, I don't think many people walk in the shoes of their exhibitors or test it from the front end. And that's something that Lisa's very good at, is making sure that once they've built their platform out, that they invite their colleagues and test it out and go through the whole process of buying something or completing their tasks, because then they can kind of get a feel for what their exhibitors are going to go through. And I don't think many others do that. It comes down to time again. It's not a very time-rich group of people, so yeah. I wish they would. That would be very helpful.
They just have to trust us. We exhibit all the time.
Yeah.
We do it for them. I can't get away from saying AI because we're at Event Tech Live in 2025, but there's a lot of chat about AI on the show floor, and I feel like it's being pushed as the solution to all problems. What's your thoughts on that? Maybe start with Lisa from a customer success point of view.
I think it can be helpful. We're currently using AI alongside our knowledge base to help with some of our exhibitor and our customer queries, and it is becoming more useful. It's learning, and it's starting to learn who's talking to it and what sort of questions it's asking. So 100% it can become an extra team member. But to me, it can't be the only team member. There still has to be that human connection. There's certain things that for me, you can't get from AI that you can get from your customer success representative or your customer experience manager. So I think it's really, really useful and something that we're looking to develop with and see where we can go with it. Absolutely, that's how the world is moving, and why wouldn't we? But I think there's a fine balance for me
And it's
using
fair
them.
to say you had looked at quite a few AI solutions before.
Oh,
you put one.
yes. Yeah, we're happy with the one that we have at the minute, and it seems to be developing. Everyone's developing their AI, so we're going to benefit from that, obviously. But yes, I would never hand everything over to AI. I don't think I could do that.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah, so we use HubSpot, funny enough. We're exhibiting just over there. But I think you've got to embrace it, but it's a tool, it's not a solution. It's something that you can utilize to improve a process. And there's so many different tools that are being provided by different exhibitors at the show that are amazing. But I don't know, the number of conversations I've had with people where the answer and the solution to every question or problem, oh, just use AI. I'm like, well, how? How are you going to use AI for that? You might be able to build something with AI to solve it, but yeah, it is just a tool. It is just a tool.
Yeah, I feel like people haven't solved the automation question before they choose an AI tool.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, let's go back to what you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And this is almost a carbon copy of 15 years ago when the first mobile apps were coming out. Every session at the bloody show was about apps. It's like the title, how do you use apps? And at that point, we were actually building our own app on top of the interactive floor plan. And people would come to us and go, do you have an app? Yeah, we've got an app. What does your app do? Well, it's just an app.
This is when you're at Showplans.
Yeah, when I was at
Yeah,
Showplans,
yeah.
I would ask them, like, what do you want your app to do? I don't know, I just want an app. And that's kind of the same thing that's happening now with AI. I want AI. What do you want it to do? What problem do you want it to solve? Well, I don't know, I just want AI.
Yeah.
So I think it seems to be, in our industry, we get excited by the shiny new things, and we don't solve the underlying problem of what's there already. Because first step could be automation and reducing the amount of workload that's there, reducing the amount of pressure. So why jump to AI if you don't really know that that's the solution to the problem?
Yeah. I think that's interesting. We have been on our side investigating how we can use AI, and we did actually send a feedback survey out to our customers to say, how would you want AI implemented in FFAIR? And yeah, we got some interesting feedback from that one. So yeah, I agree, people want to run before they can walk with it sometimes, and it's just implementing it in the correct way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're also seeing a lot of our clients thankful that there's no kind of real AI part of our system at the moment. I mean, I'd be an idiot to ignore it, but some of our clients just don't have the policies in place to allow you to have AI in your system. I mean, when I'm filling out compliance forms and data security responses, even those are about 600 questions. If we layered in AI on top of that, we're talking some serious InfoSec challenges. So yeah, I think we need to get the houses in order a little bit before we can fully go down that route.
Which is so interesting because a lot of the RFPs now for the corporate events are saying, what do you have AI? Like that's a question on the RFP. Not because of the policies or the InfoSec, but because they actually want you to have an AI something in your platform. It's like a company. It's funny that's not matching up.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
So looking forward to 2026. What if exhibitors are meeting deadlines? What's next?
So I think we need to double down on that. I think the whole ordering side of the equation is also important, because one of the stats that we figured out not over last year, the year before, was 68% of exhibitors were ordering after the deadline date, and they're incurring 25% charges on top of what's already expensive, let's be honest. Over the course of last year, we've reduced that from 68% down to 40%. And that's what I really want to improve, because exhibiting is expensive. I don't want that to be a reason why people don't exhibit. So if we can get that down below 10% of exhibitors ordering late, we're in a good place. And I think as an industry, that's my goal, at least this year.
Yeah, I'm always watching the Exhibitor Live and Exhibitor Advocate. They're US based. Obviously, we're in the UK, so it's slightly different. But they do surveys every year on budgets and exhibiting budgets, and I'm always watching that because it's about the perception of where they're spending money, and suppliers and organisers and venues are right up there. So anything we can do to even reduce the perception of what that might be.
Yeah, one of the things that we're just about to release as well is, rather than penalising for ordering late, giving them something to use, so giving them a discount code. That feels like if you don't use that discount code, it's a waste. It's even more of a waste than being penalised. So it's kind of changing that perception and mindset to give them something that they will utilise. But if you put a deadline date on that or an expiry date on that discount code, that's also going to help drive.
I get about 5 of those every day, and that's what makes me shop online.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There are some shops, I won't name names, but who definitely send me those, and I get in a bit of a panic because I'm like, oh my God, I bet they've got a really good coat.
You got enough coats.
Never too many. Lisa, what about you? What are you working on for 2026?
For me, I think it's about nurturing our existing clients. We've just brought out our accreditation course, level 1, but we are bringing out a level 2 of that as well, which will be a lot more in-depth, and it'll take a bit more time from our customers, but they have one-on-one sessions with me to help them with that. So for me, it's nurturing them, making sure that they're getting the most out of the platform, as well as creating that independence so that they feel that they can go on and do what they need to do without needing to come to me. I am still here if anyone needs me, of course, but I think putting it back on them to know how they can get the best out of the platform, that is my job. And I think we're looking at doing more webinars and a bit more interaction with the customers in that way. So I think that's going to be really useful, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
Event organisers like to be in control,
Yes.
right? And I think that's a big thing with a lot of event tech companies. They take that control, they build it for you. They're like, oh, give us 3 months, we'll come back to you in 3 months, it'll be set up. So the fact that they have more control over
Absolutely.
that, and they can do that. What's the fastest time that anyone's ever gone live with a manual from signing a contract?
Ooh, few days. They always ask me how quickly can I go live, and I'm like, it depends what time you have on your side. From our side, couple of days you can absolutely do it, but it's them getting the time to do it. So yeah, managing their expectations that way, but if they need it to be out in a couple of days and they have time to do it, absolutely they can go ahead.
And if they have the skills to do that, especially if they're the bigger organisers where they might have super users and things like that. So.
Yeah. And what we'll do for them before they go live as well is we offer a health check. So they can build their show, they can go, hey Lisa, I think I'm ready to launch, have a look at this, and I'll go through every section of it and just make sure that from my point of view, from what I've seen from other organisers just like theirs, are they using it in the best way? Do they have the correct tasks and are all of their settings correct as well? So I think that's really valuable to them.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we have in our pipeline as well is the launch of our exhibitor data. So we have a lot of data. We've had 100,000 exhibitors go through our platform now, and publishing that data and giving that back to organisers so that they can make decisions and be more informed on exhibitor data. Is there anything that you've learned about exhibitors that you didn't know before, from your bird's eye view of?
But I think just going back to how late people leave it previously, and how responsive they can be and how responsive they want to be. I genuinely, the data just points to systems not being intuitive enough or reminding people, because no one's intentionally leaving it late. It's because all of the reminders and all of the chases just come in too late. And that's something that I think from the data perspective, we've shown that you can control it. And even the ordering, 68%, when I spoke to some of the general service contractors, they actually told me, no, you won't go around that. That's just how it is. That's been like that for 25 years. You'll never change that. So getting that down to 40%, going back to those suppliers and go, hey, look at the difference here. And they're like, whoa, okay, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, I think we can get all exhibitors ordering on time. That's what I think.
That's now, not in writing, but that's now podcasted, so you know that's true.
Uh-oh.
What do you see, Lisa, from the shows that have the highest amount of exhibitors, on time, completing tasks? Is there something that those organisers are doing with the other organisers? What's the biggest advice that you always give people?
My advice is to make sure you're giving them all the information they need in the easiest way possible. Do not feel like you're overloading them with information. FFAIR makes it easy to segment everything so they're not overloaded. It's not like they're getting everything all at once. Your tasks and your show info sections allow you to segment it so they are getting the information in a readable way. Something I always tell them is to make every task completable. So even if it's just that you need them to check something if they have or haven't done it, make sure that even if they haven't, there is a response type there that they can choose, okay, I haven't. And it just allows people to complete a task no matter what. So it's pushing your task completion rate up, and you can see the responses to that as well.
And I totally agree with that, because we're exhibiting at 5 events. I'm an ex-organiser. I've been in this industry 20 years and I still find it really difficult to exhibit. So I mean, that might say something more about me as a person, but I think that it is really hard.
Yeah, I think so. I would just say don't be scared to feel like you're overloading them, because you're not. Using the tools that we're giving you as well, as I say, the templates and our onboarding call and things like that, I think we can make the most out of the portal for your exhibitors. Yeah.
Can I ask one off-the-wall question that I haven't prepared you for?
No.
Nope.
What have you seen around the show that you're like, oh, that's cool, that's going to be...
I saw Santa yesterday.
Oh, did you? Oh, there you go.
You saw Santa. Nice. I don't know how useful it is, but I saw a 3D Albert Einstein, like a big sort of hologram. That's really impressive. As you're walking past, you can kind of see around the corner. That's fun tech. But there's so many different exhibitors here that are creating amazing solutions that will make exhibiting easier and organising shows easier. I mean, we've got Crowdcoms, RefTech, Additus, Sitka. There's a lot of great event tech. It doesn't always have to be shiny. It can be very operational and it's a gift of time. And there's a lot of suppliers that do that.
Yeah, I've seen a stand. It's actually quite a small stand, but they've decorated it like a Nan's living room, and it looks absolutely amazing. I love how, when exhibitors are given the time, how much more creative they can be.
True.
Right?
Yeah,
That's what we're trying to get from them, not just filling in forms quicker. It's actually giving them the space to be like, actually, what are you doing on your stand?
Yeah.
It's a really cool stand. I love it.
It is. I keep walking past it. I saw someone on a fake phone yesterday.
Yeah. And if they press a button on it, the screen changes. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love
cool.
it. I absolutely love it. So, Adam, where can people find us next? Where can they see us in person?
So we will be flying to Houston for...
Not Euston.
Not Euston. No, not Euston. That's the train station. I keep telling you that. No, we'll be in Houston for Expo. That's at the beginning of December. We'll be in the Tech to Grow area.
Yes, yeah.
And then after that, we'll be coming back to the UK for Confex in March. We've also got an Event Tech Christmas party on the 2nd of December in London as well. So I think there may be a couple of tickets left. But yeah, even if it's not in person, we do love showing off our system as well. And we'll always be happy to demo the system and show people how it works and what successes we've had.
Yeah, we're going to launch some weekly demos. So if you're not one for putting a demo in your diary and having it one-to-one and you just want to find out more, they'll be launching those soon. So yeah, watch your space.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.